Ibadan residents demonstrate against rising living expenses. Anxiety over fuel shortage grips Abuja amid NATO service suspension. Unrest as bandits attack Niger community, destroying homes, livestock and food supplies. Palestine urges International Court of Justice to hold Israeli occupation. Hello there. Good evening and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Ibadan as some residents in the Oyo State capital have staged a protest to express their displeasure of the rising cost of living and harsh economic realities in the country. They're calling on the government to address the hardship to forestall a state of emergency. The protesters, who converged on Mokola, Ibadan, carrying placards with various inscriptions and chanting solidarity songs, say they will peacefully carry their protest to major streets across the capital. Here's a report.
They appealed to all concerned Nigerians to join the solidarity movement, as average Nigerians cannot continue enduring what they describe as an unbearable pain. One of the coordinators, Queen Mobalaji, assured that they have put necessary machinery in place to prevent the protest from being hijacked by unscrupulous elements.
For the government to know that the whole country is hungry. We just need their intervention. We do not want to fight with them. We are not here to cause any problem. We're just here to tell the government our problems, that they should just look into this for us. That they should please look into the problem of the masses. Help us. Have mercy on us. People are hungry. People are dying daily of hunger. Insecurity is killing people. We just need them to help us.
Every Nigerian has the right to hear their opinions. And we cannot say because we are here today, we must not allow every other Nigerians to exercise their constitutional duty. Section 34, 39 and 40 empowers every Nigerian to organize a peaceful assembly and to speak about the economic hardship. On this note, this is not today's own. We are starting. This is just the start. It is a continuous action. Expect protest from any angle.
The Police Public Relations Officer, Oyo State Command, SP Adewale Osifeso, who accompanied the protesters, said the police is focused on guaranteeing the safety of both the protesters and other Nigerians, and also ensure that the protest is not hijacked by those with ulterior motives.
Like I said earlier on, our people have the right to freedom of assembly as it is, but our duty is to ensure that it is not hijacked by unscrupulous elements. And, if caution is not taken, which is why we are here, to ensure that we provide the intelligence and, of course, the physical support to ensure that these elements do not hijack. I mean, we don't want a spark. We understand that, anything could ignite, necessary actions here. So we, as human beings, are also with them to ensure that they are not led into issues that will cause chaos.
At Bodija Market, some market women joined the protesters, calling on the President Bola Tinubu-led federal government to address their plight.
Well, as Nigerians continue to grapple with the high cost of living, stakeholders in Kano are brainstorming on possible solutions towards addressing the situation. While the Nigerian Labour Congress is set to shut down the country in a few weeks' time, pending its negotiations with the federal government, traders argue that addressing the foreign exchange crisis is key to turning things around. Trust TV's Idris Jibrin has more on the story.
This is Dawano Market in Kano, Africa's largest grain market, from where trucks loaded with food items depart for other African nations. Despite availability of food items, Nigerians still buy food at high price.
I could remember I used to buy the bag of rice when it is 18,000 something, when the price is going high. For the past 2 weeks, I bought Amaraba, 45,000 naira. So for the past next week, when I came on to buy, they say 60-something thousand naira. How are we going to do now? But now, we are struggling to buy. I buy the one that they are doing 12. Last week when I bought it, 2,100 naira. But now I bought it 3,100 naira.
But these people say they are not exporting food items, and they need government to review foreign exchange policy as US dollar remains scarce.
The subsidy removal has really affected so many aspects of life, not only the food crops. It is from there that all other things are now taking another dimension. And the most important aspect is the food crops. You see now, the price of diesel is getting high. Everything is being affected by this subsidy. No nation can survive without subsidy in one way or the other.
In Singa, the largest commodity market in northern Nigeria, thousands of people trade here on a daily basis. Traders here are often accused of hoarding food items to maximize profits to their advantage.
Kamar misali da ake magana 'yan kasuwa suna rike kaya ko suna kai kaya.
For example, people used to accuse us that we used to hoard commodities, and that is not true. Look at Kano. A place like Kano, if we said we don't have stores where to keep our goods, then there is definitely a problem. Secondly, you look at Niger, Chad, Benin Republic, Togo, Mali, they all came to Kano, this market, to buy goods to their countries. Government did not see that as a threat, but what they are seeing is us hoarding goods. We don't hoard anything. For the Nigeria Labour Congress, on the other hand, the federal government is to blame for the current hardship, and the only available option left is for them to embark on an indefinite strike action.
If you did not go on the strike, government will not do anything. If you did not go on the strike, government will keep mute and continue exploiting people. Exactly. Now, we went on 3 days warning strike. Government released palliatives, grants to the states. At least it is an achievement. I can tell you with all assurances, without that, government will never give that money to states to buy grants and distribute to people.
Be that as it may, Nigerians are still feeling the pulse, but remain hopeful that things could change for the better before they totally get out of hand. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, there is a fear of possible fuel scarcity that is growing in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, as members of the National Association of Road Transport Owners withdraw their petroleum trucks from product loading activities. The union had in a notice linked the decision on the rising operational cost across the country. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail speaks to some motorists and residents in Abuja who are concerned that petrol may not be accessible in the days to come. His report.
With Nigerians struggling to survive the harsh economic realities in the country, the situation is getting more complicated amidst fears of a possible fuel scarcity. This comes after the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners directed its members to withdraw their petroleum trucks from product loading activities from Monday, February 19, 2024. Residents say the NATO decision to down tools in the petroleum supply chain will affect their operations.
There is fear of fuel scarcity because of the degree of uncertainty around. And my candid advice is that Mr. President economic team should look into this thing deeply and revise fuel subsidy regime.
I've been on queue for about 30 minutes now, and I don't know when I'm going to buy. I'm supposed to be in the market by now, but because other filling stations their prices are so exorbitant, we're all struggling to buy with the NNPC. And in fact, we are praying for God's intervention because it has not been so easy.
While fears of possible scarcity continue, some Nigerians have started feeling the impact as they experience difficulties to access petrol as at Monday.
The situation of the country now, like Buhari, where I came from now, is only one NNPC that has fuel now. The one in Oshafa is selling presently now, and the one in a camp, their product has finished. So from all the way from Buhari now, I cannot get any NNPC that is very calm, except Beggar here, since Buhari don't have fuel.
If I'm queue for fuel station, say I'm looking for fuel, that day is going, I don't lose 10,000 because I need, when I come out, I enter fuel station and bought my fuel and go work, than to go and queue for fuel station to get fuel.
Since the removal of fuel subsidy in May last year, Nigerians have been witnessing high level of disruptions and price instability in the petroleum supply chain. These disruptions may be compounded with the recent directive by the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners for its members to withdraw their services. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In other news, over 30 houses and scores of cattle have been reportedly burned by bandits during an attack in Alawa community of Shiroro local government area of Niger State. Alawa is said to be one of the major agrarian communities with over 2,000 residents of the area in Shiroro local government area. Now, the local government chairman of the community said the attackers invaded the community at about 8 p.m. on Sunday and kidnapped unspecified number of residents. He said about 100 cattle, 35 motorcycles and 150 bags of assorted grains belonging to residents and 30 homes were burnt during the attack by bandits, as residents say they cannot move for 1 kilometer from the community without coming in contact with terrorists over the years, saying that terrorists have permanent camps in the community in the forest in Alawa. Now, Niger State government and the State Police Command are yet to comment on the recent attack. Staying with security developments, armed bandits have attacked the divisional headquarters of the Nigeria Police Force in Zurmi town, the headquarters of Zurmi local government area of Zamfara State. The bandits were said to have invaded the town on Sunday evening, killing 7 persons, including a police officer. An indigene of the town says he was yet to speak with any of his relatives at around 9:45 p.m. because most of their numbers have been switched off. Now, another resident say the bandits attacked the town with a mission of revenge after 2 of their members were killed by local vigilantes in the area. He says several shops were burned down and the divisional headquarters of the police in Zurmi was also razed by the bandits. Another bandit group operating in the Maradun local government area also killed 4 persons and abducted several others during this period. Elsewhere, Justice Emeka Nwete of the Federal High Court, Abuja, on Monday struck out charges of treasonable felony brought against the convener of Revolution Now protests, Omoyele Sowore, by the federal government of Nigeria. Last week, the federal government had, through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, filed a notice of discontinuance before the court. In a ruling on Monday, Justice Nwete held that the court was bound to strike out the charge since the case was started afresh before the court. He subsequently struck out the charges. The court ordered the Department for State Security Service to return 3 phones seized from Sowore, his passport, as well as the sum of 10,000 naira collected from him and a phone collected from the second defendant. Sowore and his co-defendant, Olawale Bakari, were arraigned before the Federal High Court, Abuja, in 2019 following a protest rally he staged in Abuja tagged Revolution Now. Staying in Abuja, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has directed the Department of Development Control to remove all illegal settlers encroaching the Abuja Science and Technology Village in Chika Aleta Village. The minister, along with his counterpart in the Ministry of Science and Technology, Uche Godfrey Naji, who inspected the tech village on Monday, was shocked by the activities of settlers in the village. Wike regretted that the fast encroachment was aided by the inability of the past administration to take action and stop individuals building illegally in the village despite the payment of compensation. And the minister assured that his administration would demonstrate a political will by stopping the illegal settlers in the area. He told the Science and Technology Minister that the money expended in providing infrastructure in the village would not go to waste. Earlier, Naji told the minister of the FCT that illegal settlers had encroached the buffer of the village, constituting a big risk and causing the country losses in its investment drive at the village that patterned after the London Technology Village, where the government of Great Britain was able to generate £6 billion over a 6-year period. President Bola Tinubu has returned to Nigeria at the end of the African Union General Assembly in Ethiopia after participating in the 37th ordinary session of the Assembly of the AU. During the summit, Tinubu was named the AU Champion for Human Resources for Health and Community Health Delivery Partnership. Tinubu joined other African leaders in high-level meetings on institutional reforms of the African Union, peace and security, specific thematic issues such as climate change, as well as modalities of participation and priorities of the continental body in the G20. The president also met with his Brazilian counterpart, Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, on Sunday and discussed ways to enhance trade, commercial and cultural relations between both Nigeria and Brazil. Tinubu, who departed Addis Ababa in the morning of Monday, arrived Abuja on around 3:40 p.m. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. Changing weather patterns linked to global warming as temperatures continue to rise. More on this and many other stories up ahead after the break. Welcome back to the news. Let's take another look at our top stories. Ibadan residents staged a demonstration against rising cost of living. Anxiety over fuel shortages grips Abuja amid NATO service suspension. Now, former governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, was on Monday questioned by crack detectives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over alleged misappropriation of funds belonging to Kwara State. Sources at both the headquarters and the Ilorin Zonal Office of the EFCC revealed that the alleged fraud was to the tune of 3 billion naira, which was allegedly laundered when Abdul Fattah held sway as governor of Kwara State. It was also gathered that the former governor, who arrived at the EFCC facility at around 9 a.m. on Monday, was still at the Commission's office at Ilorin as at the time of this report. Abdul Fattah Ahmed, an ally of former Senate President Bukola Saraki, was last year invited by the EFCC for interrogation over the affairs of the state under his watch. Findings at the time show that the former governor was accompanied by his lawyers and was asked to come over to the Commission office with some documents to aid in the investigation. When contacted, the spokesperson of the EFCC, Dele Oyewale, confirmed the former governor's presence at the Anti-Graft Agency's facility, but declined to give details on the investigation. Now, the sudden change in weather patterns noticed across parts of the country have been attributed To global trends of climate change. According to environmental experts, the change in some parts of the country signals the transitional period between dry and wet seasons, which is characterized by weather fluctuations. Many of the experts say despite this adverse effects, people, especially those who work outdoors, must adapt to the current weather conditions as they have no alternatives. Hassan Koli tells us more.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, predicted that the country will experience haziness and cloudiness from Monday to Wednesday. The agency also warned people with respiratory issues, among others, to be cautious of the weather and wear a mask to prevent the negative consequences. For this Gombe resident, transporting people within the metropolis has become difficult, as a dust haze with a horizontal visibility range of about 2 km to 5 km is affecting the state. Weather fluctuations is making my work difficult. We are experiencing cold, hazy and hot weather for the last 3 days. As an Okada man, this is affecting my productivity, but I am doing it anyway as I have no alternative. According to weather analysts, the current atmosphere is usually experienced as a sign of transition between two seasons with negative impact on both humans and their environment.
And this spontaneous change, it happens as a result of some factors that could lead to spontaneous change and erratic change in weather. It affects human health, especially those that are suffering from probably catarrh or some bronchial problem and what have you. And also it affects aviation industry in terms of visibility. When the weather, as a result of this dust storm, you find out that the weather will not be friendly for aircraft, especially during landing. And it affects agriculture in the same way for those that keep poultry.
The weather in Gombe has fluctuated between 20 to 34 degrees Celsius in the last 3 days and is expected to reach between 35 to 40 degrees Celsius in the next few days. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Now let's take a look at developments on the international scene, where representatives for Palestine have called for an end to the occupation of Palestinian territories and the system of apartheid enforced by Israel at the International Court of Justice. Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki and Palestine's United Nations envoy Riyad Mansour, along with several academic and legal experts, presented or represented Palestine at the hearings that began in The Hague on Monday and will last through February 26. The case, which is separate from the genocide case by South Africa against Israel for its ongoing war on Gaza, is to determine the legal consequences of Israel's decades-long occupation of Palestinian territories. At the hearing on Monday, Mansour says Israel must bear the consequences of actions that run counter to international law and not be rewarded for them.
I stand before you as 2.3 million Palestinians in Gaza, half of them children, are besieged and bombed, killed and maimed, starved and displaced. As more than 3.5 million Palestinians in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, are subjected to colonization of their territory. There was life on this land. There was a political life, a cultural life, a social life, a religious life. It had schools and universities, cinemas and cultural halls. It had villages and villagers, families and communities whose life was disrupted by the impact of a promise made thousands of miles away over 100 years ago.
Well, that's it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. We'll be back with more news stories a little later at 9 for our main bulletin. But for now, follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more of our news contents as well as documentaries. My name is Abdullah Ahmed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.